Did you know that the majority of us question ourselves roughly 5 times a day? In fact, an incredible 85% of people struggle with frequent insecurities and low self-confidence. This implies that true self-assurance is quite rare. But why do so many experience this? In this video, we'll delve into the different patterns in our everyday behaviors and mental frameworks that shape our self-confidence. The things we habitually do, say, and think can greatly influence our self-esteem. A single negative habit can plant harmful thoughts that lead to self-defeating actions, inhibiting our growth and making us feel confined. As our confidence dwindles, we often cling to the very thoughts that weaken it. If you wish to become more self-assured, you need to break free from these detrimental cycles. How? By transforming your mindset and changing how you interact with the world. Before we dive in, ensure you're subscribed to our channel and have notifications turned on. Hit the like button to support us, and feel free to leave your comments below. Staying until the end of this video means you're committed to evolving into a more confident and empowered self. Let's get started. Number 1. The burden mindset. Have you ever met someone who apologizes for almost everything, even when they've done nothing wrong? It's a familiar situation where many people go through life constantly saying sorry to everyone for every little thing. This behavior deeply impacts their mindset, planting an unnecessary sense of guilt just for existing. The ancient Stoics, like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, taught that our reactions to external events are within our control, though the events themselves are often beyond it. Applying this to our lives, it's clear that adopting a mindset where we feel obligated to apologize for every minor occurrence is not only needless, but also damaging. It diminishes our confidence and forces us to approach every interaction cautiously, as if we're walking on eggshells. This burden mindset makes us feel like we're always a nuisance to others, which is a distorted view of reality. Not every problem or mishap in life is our fault, and recognizing this can be freeing. Confident individuals, guided by Stoic principles, understand the importance of distinguishing when an apology is truly warranted and when it's not. They apologize sincerely when needed, but they also stand firm in not taking responsibility for things beyond their control. For example, imagine being late to a meeting due to traffic. While it's polite to acknowledge the inconvenience, feeling guilty as if you caused the traffic jam is unnecessary and unhelpful. A Stoic approach would be to calmly explain the situation without self-reproach, recognizing the disruption without internalizing blame. Making a conscious effort to apologize only when you genuinely mean it can significantly improve your interactions and how you see yourself. You'd be surprised how much your self-worth improves when you stop accepting responsibility for every external circumstance. This shift not only boosts personal happiness, but also aligns with the Stoic principle of living in harmony with what we can and cannot control. Remember, the aim isn't to become indifferent or unapologetic, but to cultivate a balanced view of ourselves and our relationships with the world. By doing this, we can navigate life with a clearer, more resilient mindset that is both liberating and empowering. Number 2, trapped in the past. It's incredibly common to find ourselves replaying old mistakes in our minds, especially late at night when we should be resting. We often wish we could go back and make different choices, perhaps imagining scenarios where we didn't say that awkward comment during a meeting or could have been kinder to a friend in need. This habit not only robs us of sleep, but it also chips away at our self-esteem, shakes our confidence, and distracts us from what truly matters in the present. The reality is, no matter how much we wish, we cannot change the past. History is unchangeable. In moments like these, we can turn to the guiding principles of Stoicism. Stoicism imparts the lesson of concentrating on what lies within our power and releasing what is beyond it. The past, with all its blunders and regrets, is something we can't change, no matter how much we wish otherwise. Rather than being trapped in a cycle of remorse, we should offer ourselves the same compassion we'd show a close friend. Picture a friend making an error, like missing a crucial deadline or forgetting an anniversary. You wouldn't criticize them endlessly. Instead, you'd likely encourage them to learn from it and move on. Adopting this same compassionate outlook toward ourselves can revolutionize how we cope with past regrets. It allows us to grow and develop from our experiences. Instead of harshly blaming yourself for a failed project, reflect on what it taught you about preparation and execution. Leverage that knowledge to thrive in your next challenge. Embracing this Stoic approach not only increases our confidence, but also equips us to overcome future obstacles. By learning and improving, we turn past failures into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Whenever you're haunted by the past, remember to extend compassion toward yourself. Learn from what you've gone through and direct your focus on what can be done now. This method not only helps us move beyond past regrets, but also sets a solid foundation for future achievement. Don't let the past define you. Use it as a guide to move forward with self-assurance and strength. Each day presents a fresh chance to craft a better version of your story. Letting fear control you. Fear often keeps us from pursuing what we truly want in life, acting like an unseen force that traps us in our comfort zones, stopping us from taking risks and embracing opportunities. But you don't have to be controlled by fear. Imagine you have a dream of starting your own business. You have great ideas, but each time you think about making that leap, fear sets in. What if I fail? Or what if things go wrong? As a result, you stay in your secure job, never really chasing your dreams. Here's the thing. Fear is just an emotion, not a physical barrier. Stoicism teaches that we have control over how we respond to fear. Instead of letting it freeze you, use it as a stepping stone. Take the philosopher Seneca, for instance. Despite facing numerous challenges and setbacks in life, he didn't allow fear to rule him. He saw obstacles as opportunities for growth. He famously stated, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality," reminding us that our fears are often exaggerated in our minds. To start overcoming fear, confront the very things that frighten you. If you fear public speaking, begin by talking to smaller groups and gradually build your confidence. If you're afraid of failing in a business venture, take small, calculated risks, but keep progressing. The key is not to let fear silence you. Acknowledge it and push beyond it. By consistently facing fears, you step out of your comfort zone and grow stronger with each step. Over time, what once seemed impossible will start to feel achievable. As you continue, you'll see that fear is merely a temporary barrier, and you have the power to overcome it. So, don't let fear stop you from pursuing your dreams. Embrace discomfort, push through limitations, and witness yourself becoming stronger with each challenge. That's Stoicism in practice. Misplaced validation. It's easy to see why so many of us fall into the trap of seeking external validation. Every day, we're flooded with notifications, likes, and comments through our social and digital networks. This constant feedback can temporarily distract us from deeper issues, but this quick fix of approval rarely builds real self-esteem or lasting confidence. In fact, depending too much on external validation can diminish our ability to appreciate and affirm ourselves. True confidence doesn't come from how many likes a post gets or how many compliments you receive. It's built internally. Stoicism emphasizes the significance of finding validation from within. Rather than always looking for approval from others, develop self-confidence by overcoming challenges, conquering fears, and achieving personal goals. Think of the moment you learned to ride a bike. The initial cheers were motivating, but lasting confidence came from mastering the skill and knowing you could handle the bike on any terrain. Each time you confront a fear, solve a problem, or achieve a goal, you're building your inner validation. This type of self-assurance doesn't waver in the absence of applause. So, when you find yourself feeling good about a flurry of likes or praise, enjoy it. But remember that these moments are temporary. The deepest and most enduring confidence stems from your own achievements, one step at a time. 5. The spotlight effect. Have you ever felt like every small error you make is under intense scrutiny? It's a common human tendency to think everyone is observing our actions and flaws. This is called the spotlight effect. It feels as if we're the stars of a show, where every mistake is amplified. Imagine spilling coffee on your shirt on the way to work, and your first thought is, everyone will notice and think I'm a mess. However, most people are too wrapped up in their own lives to even register it. At a party, if you stumble over your words in a conversation, you might feel like everyone is silently judging you. But the truth is, people are busy with their own dialogues and likely won't even notice. This is where Stoicism comes in. Instead of getting trapped by this imaginary spotlight, why not dim the lights a bit? Remind yourself that you're not the focus of everyone's attention. Most people are absorbed in their own lives, not yours. Releasing yourself from the need for constant approval brings a newfound sense of freedom. If you live life as though you're constantly on display, you'll feel shackled by insecurity. But when you live as if no one is watching, you're free. You can express yourself, take risks, and embrace your uniqueness without fear of judgment. Let's take a lesson from the Stoics. Lower the spotlight on yourself and enjoy the liberation that comes from living authentically. Remember, the harshest critic you face is often the one staring back at you in the mirror. 6. Habit friction. Let's explore the idea of habit friction and how understanding it can help us align with Stoic principles, particularly in building resilience and self-confidence. Stoicism emphasizes simplicity and discipline to achieve our goals. Imagine setting a goal to get in shape, boosting both confidence and strength. Motivated, you sign up for a high-end gym on the other side of town. You pledge to go every day, but as time passes, the long commute becomes discouraging. Eventually, your visits become rare, and frustration kicks in as your goal feels increasingly out of reach. This illustrates friction. In Stoic terms, friction is any obstacle that makes it harder to practice virtues like discipline and perseverance, which are crucial for growth. Small barriers, though seemingly insignificant, can accumulate and make it difficult to stick to your commitments. To live more in line with Stoic virtues, reduce these frictions. If fitness is your goal, choose a gym closer to home or set up a space to exercise at home. The easier it is to start, the more likely you'll continue. This concept applies elsewhere too. For instance, if you want to read more, keep a book by your bed, or if you're trying to eat healthier, prepare meals in advance. By minimizing friction, you align more closely with Stoic values, making it easier to focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't. The path to becoming stronger and more confident becomes clearer. 7. The procrastination vortex. In Stoic philosophy, procrastination isn't just laziness. It's failing to align actions with values. Stoicism teaches that living virtuously means embodying wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Procrastination reflects a lack of discipline and avoidance of responsibilities, which ultimately damages self-respect. For example, if you set a goal to start exercising but continually put it off, each delay chips away at your confidence. Over time, this creates a cycle of helplessness and insecurity. The more you procrastinate, the less you believe in your ability to succeed. Stoics argue that we should focus on what's within our control, our actions, reactions, and willpower. Procrastination is within our control. To break free, set clear, achievable goals and break tasks into smaller steps. Create a daily routine to minimize decision fatigue. Reflect on your progress without being harsh, and visualize the benefits of action versus the costs of procrastination. By practicing these steps, you'll strengthen your discipline and align more closely with Stoic virtues. Self-compassion. Remember, being overly critical of yourself only feeds procrastination. Cultivate self-compassion by reminding yourself that making mistakes is part of being human. What's important is to realign and continue forward. By confronting procrastination with these Stoic approaches, you not only disrupt the cycle, but also rebuild your sense of confidence and self-worth. It's about synchronizing your actions with your core principles and taking charge where possible, nurturing a sense of capability and self-respect. Let's challenge ourselves to break free from the procrastination trap, embracing the Stoic lifestyle of purpose and virtue. Remember, every moment offers a fresh opportunity to become the person you strive to be. Unfinished business. It's a familiar story. Many of us dive into projects with enthusiasm and high expectations, whether it's starting a fitness journey, writing a book, or remodeling a house. But what often happens? The initial excitement fades, obstacles arise, whether they're technical challenges or life's endless demands. Doubt creeps in, making us question if we can really pull it off, and fear of failure becomes paralyzing. For many, this is where the journey halts. These projects we were once so excited about remain incomplete, leaving us with a twinge of regret. We're left wondering what might have been, and that's a hard reality to accept. But here's where ancient wisdom can offer a solution. Stoicism, a philosophy that has endured through the ages, teaches us about resilience and perseverance. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius or Seneca were no strangers to adversity, but viewed obstacles as opportunities for growth. They believed in concentrating on what we can control, our actions and our mindset. Take, for instance, someone training for a marathon. It's a significant commitment, and there are countless moments where the temptation to quit looms large, whether it's bad weather, injuries, or dwindling motivation. Stoicism teaches us to view these setbacks as part of the journey, not reasons to quit. Each small step, each day of training, is a victory in itself, a crucial part of the broader pursuit of personal excellence. Finishing what we start, no matter how small the task, brings immense fulfillment. It's not just the major accomplishments that matter, but also the smaller ones. The bookshelf you finally built, the garden you nurtured all summer, or the blog you maintained for a year. Every finished project adds to our confidence, emboldening us to keep pushing and trying new things, even if mistakes happen along the way. Completing a project allows us to say, "I did that," and take on the next challenge with renewed vigor. It proves to ourselves that we can follow through, that we're capable of persistence. And when we persevere, we can start anew with more wisdom and stronger resolve. So, let's not let the fear of failure prevent us from finishing what we start. Let's face challenges head-on and push through. As the Stoics remind us, it's not what happens to you, but how you respond that matters. Let's respond by moving forward one step at a time, assuming the worst. Have you ever prepared for a social encounter expecting deep down that people won't like you? This mindset is more common than you might think. What's happening here? Many of us enter these situations bracing for rejection, feeling exposed and anxious, as if we're entering a battlefield instead of a casual conversation. As a result, we build walls and hide our true selves, trying to protect ourselves from possible negative judgments, almost like wearing armor. From a Stoic viewpoint, resilience and focusing on what's within our control are key. One thing we can absolutely control is our approach to new interactions. What if, instead of expecting the worst, we adjusted our mindset to anticipate positive outcomes? Stoics would advise us to manage our impressions not with defensiveness, but with authenticity and openness. Marcus Aurelius, the famed Stoic, often wrote about seeing challenges as opportunities to practice virtues like patience and kindness. When you meet someone new, instead of expecting them to dislike you, why not assume they will appreciate your genuineness? This doesn't mean everyone will like you, but it transforms the way you engage. Think of someone admired for their social grace, maybe a teacher, community leader, or a friend known for their ease. These individuals don't approach conversations guarded. They usually expect positive interactions and are open and sincere. What's the result? They build meaningful connections, are liked and respected for their authenticity. By expecting good interactions and being true to ourselves, we develop real confidence, not the fragile kind that comes from hiding behind emotional defenses. This confidence draws more positivity from others, fostering genuine relationships. So, next time you're entering a social setting, embrace Stoic wisdom. Expect the best, not the worst. Drop the armor and reveal who you really are. You might be surprised by how much more connected and confident you feel when you do. It feels natural to avoid discomfort and the possibility of failure, doesn't it? But here's the thing, and it's something that Stoic philosophy often addresses. When we shy away from risks, we also deprive ourselves of the chance to truly trust in our abilities. Stoicism teaches us the importance of pushing our limits and confronting challenges directly. Think about it. If you've never tested your potential, How can you be confident in your own strength? Let's consider a few everyday scenarios. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting when you typically remain silent, or taking on a demanding project that feels slightly beyond your skill level. It might even be something as simple as trying a new sport or hobby that intimidates you at first. Each of these situations involves stepping into the unfamiliar, going beyond what feels comfortable. By doing so, we're not just proving our capabilities to others, we're demonstrating them to ourselves. We discover that we're capable of handling more than we thought, and even if we stumble, we gain valuable lessons along the way. This growth is at the core of Stoicism. It's about seeing challenges as opportunities to become stronger and more resilient. So, the next time you're faced with a choice between the easy route and the one that makes you a little nervous, remember that stepping outside your comfort zone is where real development happens. It's about pushing your boundaries, facing the unknown, and ultimately becoming a more confident version of yourself. Now, let's talk about self-fulfilling prophecies. Sometimes, we become our own worst enemy. We convince ourselves that things will go wrong, that obstacles are too overwhelming, or that our efforts will end in failure. This mindset doesn't just hold us back, it actively shapes our reality. Picture a student who believes they're bad at math. This belief might stop them from studying or asking for help, which leads to poor grades, reinforcing their belief in their lack of ability. It's a cycle that starts with a thought and ends with that thought becoming reality. The Stoics remind us that our thoughts and beliefs hold the power to influence our actions and outcomes. If we focus on failure, our actions tend to align with making that failure more likely, perhaps not deliberately, but certainly in effect. On the other hand, if we choose to believe in our potential and concentrate on positive outcomes, we're more inclined to take actions that lead to success. This isn't about blind optimism. It's about a deliberate choice in how we perceive things. It's about preparing for the worst while operating as though success is achievable and within reach. There's real-world evidence to support this. Studies have consistently shown that our expectations can significantly impact our performance. Athletes who visualize victory before a game often perform better. Students who believe they can improve their abilities through hard work and study tend to do so. Let's talk about confidence. Confidence isn't just an emotion, it's a catalyst. When we have faith in ourselves, we're more likely to take bold actions, persist through difficulties, and inspire confidence in others. Here, Stoic practices of focusing on self-improvement and inner resilience can be incredibly helpful. They teach us to build an internal fortress, impervious to the chaos of external circumstances. And this strength starts with believing in ourselves. So, how can we apply this to our own lives? Start by paying attention to your thoughts. Are you setting yourself up for failure with negative expectations? Shift that mindset. Approach challenges with the belief that you can overcome them. Even if the outcome isn't perfect, you'll be better prepared to handle it with Stoic grace and resilience. Remember, the journey to a Stoic mindset involves recognizing the power of our thoughts and learning to direct them in ways that help rather than hinder us. Believe in yourself, and more often than not, you'll find that you can achieve more than you ever thought possible. As we wrap up today's discussion, let's take a moment to reflect on what true confidence looks like. A confident person takes pride in their accomplishments and feels content with the choices they've made. They express themselves honestly, unafraid to show their true emotions. Beneath it all, they're grounded by solid values that guide their decisions. These core principles foster deep self-awareness and help them lead richer, more authentic lives. A truly confident person dares to be themselves, openly and unapologetically. But such authenticity is rare. To ignite this confidence, you must first identify the psychological and behavioral barriers that are holding you back. Often, the things we do or avoid can undermine our self-assurance. By confronting and overcoming these harmful habits, you can cultivate a lasting, resilient confidence. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and explore more insightful content linked on the end screen. Wishing you the strength to be your most authentic self.